and they need to make sure they prioritize a pick like Gnar this time round, maybe not the Corki. That will be good for them. But obviously, we're going on time. Everyone is ready and locked in place, so there's not going to be any loss of bans between the two teams. So this means there's going to be an extra ban on the side of YouWhatMate. So if they can try and do something like they did last game, get themselves onto champions that suit their playstyle a bit better, Electi have got a bit more of a game on their hands. They obviously won that first game because essentially YouWhatMate thought Warwick OP, pick Warwick, build composition around Warwick, didn't really work. And Electi just ran away with it. Electi this time round need to get some picks that they know they can carry with. And YouWhatMate need to make sure that they prioritize those picks that work well with their individual players.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, guys, just in case you were wondering how they decide who was blue and who was purple, Electi won a coin toss and decided they wanted to go blue side. As we see picks and bans coming out exceptionally fast. The exact same 3 bans for Electi, 3 games in a row. Lucian, Syndra and Lee Sin, not necessarily always in that order. And on the purple or red side, we do see what YouWhatMate going with Akali and Jarvan again. But this time, they banned the Anivia, leaving open that Gnar for Electi to go with. I imagine they'd want to go with it.
I'd imagine Gnar would be the first pick here. It's been on both the winning sides for both teams at this point in time, and it's a very big pick for both top laners. Interestingly enough, the Ezreal is up because it hasn't been banned this time round again. They beat it out fairly competently last time, even though they lost first blood to it. So they're not scared that Shawzy's Ezreal once again now. Shawzy, I imagine, probably wouldn't want to repeat that pick, but if he did, he still has the potential to carry with it because I've seen him do it time and time again, and you were right, and I was right.
Yeah.
The Gnar is the first pick coming in here, and that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah, exactly, and I do believe that's something that they really should be trying to prioritize, and I'm surprised they went with the Corki in the last game having first pick, but we see Propaganda Panda looking at that Pantheon. They actually might sacrifice the Corki and the Blitzcrank. Are we going to see a Blitzcrank coming out?
This is interesting.
Yeah. No.
I mean, they're going to go for the Corki and the Pantheon. Now, obviously, Shawzy does like that AD Blitzcrank mid. So, it's still up for him. He can pick that, he can pick the Ezreal. Shawzy has been playing a lot of these weird and wonderful champions in the mid lane. He is not a meta mid laner. He loves these pocket picks, and some of them can really catch their opponents by surprise. Now, knowing that YouWhatMate have been banning the Blitzcrank and knowing that they know about it, I imagine Brixton could potentially be geared to deal with Shawzy's Blitzcrank, if that is the case. They hovered over it, maybe baiting out that they were thinking about picking it, and essentially there's a bit of mind games coming out here. Are they potentially looking to say, go for that Blitzcrank because we can deal with it?
Yeah, and I think it would be a bit risky, but as I say, you need to go hard or go home in the last game of the season effectively if you lose, so they need to win this. It's their last opportunity, as I say, to get into those top 8 of the Four Nations tournament. Looks like they are going to lock in their bot lane of Sona and Graves, and we talked about this in the first game of the day. Graves is just so strong right now, especially with someone with Sona. He just has so much more resistance as he's got a natural sustain with Sona's heals. It just suits out so much better, especially when you combo their collateral damage and the Sona crescendo. It can do a huge amount of damage across the team.
And we've talked about why Graves is so strong in lane. He has the ability to stack up that passive with the base. Stats have all been buffed on every single champion. All of the base stats have been buffed, but obviously Graves' armor is still a flat gain for him, so he'll get extra armor and magic resist in lane just because of that passive, and it makes him a lot harder to deal with in that laning phase. Corki, however, does fairly well against Graves, and this is going to be a Morgana lock-in for either Brixton or WYZY. But after the way those Dark Bindings were flying out from WYZY last game, I would be surprised if this wasn't a pickup for him. And oh my word, are we going to see a Sion top lane?
I actually got a little bit of information from a couple of players saying they have been playing it quite a bit. I'm very curious to see. Now, as we say, we're nearly guaranteed to see the Morgana come out because we said it earlier about Sona. Sona struggles against hard engage. You can't really get, a lot, kind of like good kite and protection and hard engage than Morgana. Sion locked in, and so is the Morgana. That is a Sion top lane going against Gnar. I have not really seen this combo, but it could be exceptionally explosive.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to imagine it in your mind. The ridiculous charge coming out from Scion down the mid lane combined with a wonderful Skyfall coming out from Pantheon with a Morgana ultimate on top. I mean, it's the kind of combo you dream about seeing on screen, and this is something that could come out here. Interestingly enough, though, I don't feel as if Keys is going to have a great laning phase going up against Nara. I imagine he's going to get bullied fairly heavily. He does also play some interesting things. I think they play a very odd Scion. From what I remember, they've played things like Magic Penetration Scion in the top lane, which is odd because obviously Scion doesn't scale from AP really anymore, but he does do magic damage with that Furnace and that and his E ability too. So there's a lot of magic damage still on the side of Scion, and I believe they play this weird Magic Penetration Scion, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one would work out if it does come through. And Brixton on Xerath. Now, I have seen him play Xerath a few times, and it kind of runs in a similar vein as to he's very good at hitting these linear skill shots. So obviously using that Shocking Orb, using his Arcano Pulse will still work out fairly well for him. And I imagine he's fairly competent, but we need to talk about this Kale pick, Bloodpenguin, because that's something that we haven't seen in a while, and Shorzy will be running with yet another unorthodox. I mean, it's kind of unorthodox for this current meta anyway. We haven't seen it in a while. So that'll be a Kale mid lane. But oh no, Brixton potentially going over for the Orianna.
Yeah, and I think until Brixton really locks in exactly what he wants to go for, they know it's going to be a Kale mid lane. It's hardly going to be Sona mid or anything like that. I'm kind of interested more in towards the Vi. Vi fell off pretty damn heavily a good few patches ago, and she just became a little not as worth really with our hard engage with the kite that was available. It is going to be a Orianna locked in though for Brixton, so we do have the team comms fully locked in. I have a prolific dislike for Vi purely for the fact that when you see a Vi and she locks on her assault and battery on top of say Jokerism's Corki, he's got a Valkyrie, he's got a Flash, you're going to end up a very long way away from your team if you end up going for that target. You also have got an Orianna, but she's got a Shockwave that she can do on top of herself. There's also the Black Shield. There's a lot of things you can do to stop a Vi from being impactful within the team. And I just feel like when she commits with her ultimate, she ends up so far away, so, absolutely crazy bonkers away from her team that she ends up dying exceptionally quickly because everyone else just jumps on top of her. I'm not a huge fan of it, but the Kale pickup versus the Orianna, it's going to be pretty much a farm fest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly safe pick into the Kale from Brixton, and he may potentially look to try and zone with that dissonance and the command attack, because obviously Shorzy will be farming through a standard auto attack range, and obviously when that his auto attack buff is down, he'll be looking to farm from melee range. So Brixton may be looking to exploit that. Hopefully won't have to deal with as much wave clear and aggression that comes out from the Anivia as soon as she gets her ball rolling. But again, like you said, an interesting pickup for Sam Hodge. The Vi, there's a lot here, especially if you're going to be looking to engage upon the Corki to drag you into areas that you don't want to be. But you got to remember, he's got a lot of quick follow-up. You've got a Gnar that can easily reposition to get into the fray. You've got the heal on Shorzy, which will speed anyone that he chooses up. Graves has got some repositioning tools, and Sona obviously has that movement speed buff for a team-wide basis. So if Sam Hodge does get caught out and caught up in a lot of trouble, then that's a lot of stuff to back him up there. And actually, Sam Hodge's Vi is probably one of his best champions that he can play in the jungle. So it's something that he'll be used to playing and used to knowing, and probably has played it a few times on this patch already. But we are seeing Proper Panda come back in with a deadly force that he had last time round, back on that Pantheon. I'm just really interested to see how Keys opts to build Scion.
Yeah, and I imagine the key to Keys Scion, if you like, is how he transcends true laning phase. Now, I've seen a couple of it in the Irish scene. We had, the Scion going through as soon as he hit level 6, pushing out the wave, going back, and then keeping his teleport so he can go down bot lane using his ultimate, or mid lane. And obviously, you do hear the global, it's like a nocturne, darkness, but it's not, kind of the darkness thing. He has got the noise that just kind of rings around the thing, so everyone goes on edge. No one really knows where he is, and he just chooses a lane to gank. They can combo that in with the Pantheon and the Orianna, or even in the bot lane with the Morgana Dark Binding and just Jokerism going absolutely ham with the Corki. It's something that can work if, he can get through the laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to survive against the Gnar. And obviously, if he chooses to just play passively, let Gnar push him in, he can build up the items that he needs to. Obviously, like we said, I have no idea how he's going to build this Scion. I've heard these crazy rumors of magic penetration Scion. He could easily go for that full tank build that we're used to seeing on Scions. He could even go for the AD build, which is... It kind of works, but is a little bit more difficult because actually, it's a bit like Gnar. When you're in the fray of the team fight, because you're going to be the main engage tool alongside that Pantheon, you need to be able to survive for a little bit. So I'm really, really interested to see where Keys runs with this, because I know he's got something in the bag ready to pull out, and you wouldn't pull out the Scion in a critical qualifying match if you weren't extremely confident in how you're going to play him.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And realistically, you'd want to be hitting those ultimates. If he misses one or two, you can kind of, out of maybe say 10 ultimates, you can kind of forgive that. But if he's missing quite a few, like Brixton was on his Orianna in the first game, he's gone back to it. You've got to be very, very careful. They will try use the ball delivery system, but it's exceptionally hard to gauge how far your range is with that ball and with Scion thundering past you, trying to get that hard engage. So it's something that both teams are going to be very wary of. If it lands, it's going to be absolutely a hugely devastating combination in favor of you, what mate. If it misses, though, with the amount of kind of sustained damage that you get with Kayle, with Gnar, with Graves, it's going to just completely destroy their team fight.
And what's interesting also about this Scion pick, if he does choose to go towards that magic penetration build, is that magic penetration builds are ever more viable in this meta. I was talking to you a little bit before the game about this, Bloodpenguin, and we were talking about the fact that essentially it's so much more efficient now to pick people like Rumble and Katarina and go for the flat magic penetration, because there's no easy way to pick up flat magic resist in high volumes in the early game. That is to say that Negatron Cloak has been removed. The only flat magic resist you can pick up as a singular item without combining it is that Null Magic Mantle at 500 gold. It provides more than the old Null Magic Mantle, but a lot less than the old removed Negatron Cloak. So these early magic penetration builds are really, really strong.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's just things like that are just, we don't really know what the meta is really going to be. We kind of, stick to what we know. And this is a complete huge learning curves for all the pro teams, all the semi-pro teams, all the, any team realistically has a huge learning curve right now of how we start in the jungle, what we do in an invade. Is it worth an invade? How do I build items? How do I, kind of build against someone or for a particular thing? It's a lot harder for teams to just actually get that kind of information, especially considering the patch is only a few weeks old. So it's such a huge learning curve. And some teams, they take big risks. They build, as you say, the crazy rumors from probably NA solo queue of Magic Pen Scion, or you end up going with the old favorites of just kind of standard builds, standard picks, and see if you can feel your way around there. But a bit of a vision war going down, no crazy invades as of yet, but I imagine both teams kind of just calming things down. They just want to get a good start to the laning phase. I
don't think anyone's going to be looking to take risks this early on, especially in the final of a best of three. You don't want to give away any of these early leads right now, and actually Achikula is waiting around. He's looking like he's going to get a bit of early aggression here onto Panda and Keys. He's trying to be a bit of a nuisance, going to do his best to damage Propaganda Panda as he looks to take away these golems here. Not going to be too much of an issue though. A singular Boomerang Blade, I don't think Propaganda's going to care too much.
No, but actually in the bot lane, we did see Jokerism and Wizyu actually denying a lot of experience there. Great damage as well, using the Dark Binding and the Prosperous Bomb. But they actually went, they knew that they were going to go for that, the start there on the camp, went to it, denied them it. Wizyu though needs to be careful, he's taking a good chunk of damage, he's only got his Dark Binding. But as you say, it's going to be a huge amount of pressure. You can see just how much this means to the players. They won't want anything to go for free whatsoever. They don't want the jungle camps to go to free. They don't want any kind of standard start. Any kind of a help in this early game could be huge come the later stages.
Oh, Hayden going to get locked up here. Phosphorus Bomb going to land on his head. Not going to be too worried though. Has got a Sona who will be hitting level 2 fairly soon. And yeah, this is some weird throwbacks in these early games as to what you kind of expected when the golems used to spawn at 140. you had the opposite numbers from your team trying to invade and negate those, and just because the flat value of experience that these monsters now provide, it sometimes is worth to lose a couple of melee minions and get that early advantage from that. Get the early advantage from those early jungle camps.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just something that teams are going to have to adapt to, and as you say, you can go for them, but if the other team knows you're going for them, they can kind of slow you down a little bit and kind of screw you up slightly. So you just need to be careful of exactly how you do it. And I think that's the thing that, you know, 420 or the preseason or season 5, whichever way you want to look at it, kind of brings is diversity. We've seen so many champions already in this series, and we don't even know what's, you know, the preseason's going to hold for us very soon. You know, it's just so many things that could be strong, that are strong, and it's just so much diversity, and I think that's exactly why I love this particular patch, because there's not just one way of playing things. There's now 3 or 4 ways of playing the same thing, and one thing does better than other. It's so diverse. It's just so interesting to watch it all pan out, and just very, very interesting to see how it all plays out.
And Proper Panda looking to put some early pressure down. Hayden and Mexia being very aggressive onto this bot lane. Wizyu potentially going to be looking to land a bind, baiting in and engage from Hayden, as Hayden looks to me. They're not playing as aggressive as they were before. Jokerism maybe being a little bit too obvious with his bait here. The phosphorus bomb coming down to farm out. Oh, he's going aggressive though.
He's going aggressive. They land the Dark Binding, but it's not going to be enough though. They do burn the heal and the ignite, but again, it's a trade. The AD carries go down, but here comes Vi. Here comes Cleanup Crew. She's trying to jump onto Proper Panda. She will be able to jump on him. That will be a kill going down. Dark Binding will not do anything. Sam Hodge picks himself up a nice kill. It's a 2-for-1 trade, and already Electi looking like they're having a stronger start.
Yeah, again, Sam Hodge, a fantastic counter gank. Now, Vi is one of the best counter ganking junglers in the game. If you can land a fully charged Vault Breaker onto your opposing number, they will take a ton of damage, especially when you've burnt your entire kit, as Proper Panda did, to get the damage down onto Graves. But unfortunately, as you saw from Corki, he just did a little bit too much in the form of baiting for that gank right there and got blown up by a surprise engage by Hayden. In this meantime, in this top lane, Keys is really starting to struggle against Chi Killer. He's a little bit behind the CS, going to get a little bit back though after this wave, but you can see he's not doing well in the duels. But that's the damage coming out from the from the roar of the Slayer. Yeah, he's actually leveling that first, so this could be that weird magic penetration build that we're talking about.
It could be now, and oh, Brixton, he's going to have to burn his flash. I imagine he's going to get knocked up by the Vault Breaker. Burns his heal instead. No mana on him though, so he's not going to be able to really stay in lane for much longer. I just feel like just at the start, just from the early signs now, Electi have gotten themselves into a nice start. Vi's actually been in the right place at the right time. So it's all just interesting little developments for them now to see exactly how they can all transcend. And we see another very, very early dragon coming out from Pantheon. He's soloing it this time.
He's gone past the ward though, unless he wasn't picked up by that ward and came through the blue area. He's going to get this again at level 3. Now this is really solid. This gave his team such a boost in the early game. It's something they're going to really need. And there we go. The roar of the dragon as the first buff comes down. And I think Electi realise that has been achieved by the opposing numbers, and Proper Panda walks away after successfully soloing out another dragon 2 games in a row.
2 games in a row, and again, you know, it happens the first time. You kind of say, okay, we weren't really kind of, you know, used to that kind of style. Just don't get caught out a second time, surely, you know. But again, you know, old habits die hard. And it's just going to happen to be another small advantage that's just given back to Mate as they just continue to try and get as much out of this game as they possibly can. Level 6 is being hit by a couple of people now. Keys and Brixton hitting that, as well as Chi Killer and Shazzy. So there'll be some interesting engages. Just poke being thrown back and forth between the bot lanes. But again, there's so much riding on this game. Winner goes through to the top 8. Their season continues off into the 4 Nations Online last 8. Loser ends the season here, and you know, being so close, it is 1-1. It literally could be, might as well be a best of 1 at this stage, because there's just nothing else they really can throw at each other apart from this last game.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally everything that they have. These teams will be looking for that final coveted spot in the fantastic Riot Four Nations tournament. We already have 6 teams in the bag. We're just waiting for the last 2, both of which will be confirmed tonight at the end of this online qualifying stage. They will then move on to next weekend, where I believe is the online portion, and then we'll be whittling down to the following weekend, which will be that ever wonderful offline portion of the tournament. And it looks like Jokerism and Wizzy already started to struggle in this bot lane versus a very poke-heavy lane of this Sona and Graves. And although Corki can do a fairly decent against Graves in lane, he's really starting to struggle as they're having to move into Sona's poke and aggressive range in order to get any damage off once those bindings hit.
Yeah, and I think Sona just kind of wins out in this sustain lane. And naturally, if you're going with a Grave Sona, you should really be winning lane. If you're not, you're in a bit of a trouble. Actually, nice there by Keys, able to stop G-Killer from his jump, putting down a good bit of damage. And going with the Catalyst, so I think you might be right. I think he literally might be going with a magic, a build with this Scion, and I've never actually seen this, and it's actually starting to hurt a little bit as we do see Hayden getting jumped on. They may be able to use this crescendo flash. No, they don't even get a Wizzy who does get caught up. He does have to force his own flash. Ignite was used, collateral damage used as well. Here we go, Chi-Killer trying to get back on top of Keys. He gets a good narrow ultimate against the wall. They're trying to turn it back onto him, but it's going to be wet noodle fight realistically as they just trade slaps and go back to trading, go back to, put the handbags down, guys, and we go back to farming.
Is this going to be either a Rod of Ages or a Righteous Glory? Oh, Proper Panda, you need to be careful!
Oh, that steal uses absolutely everything in the end. The ultimate actually used out by Scion. Chi-Killer able to get out of that one pretty damn easily. Doesn't have to burn the flash or anything. And again, this just seems like Electi coming out the stronger, and actually Electi have been the ones who actually haven't been looking the strongest. We do see Keys, he's going in, Flash is coming in, he's able to jump away. Will he get the Righteous Roar?
Oh, no.
Roar of the Slayer, I should say, or Roar of the Slain. Not quite. He's able to go out of it. It's pretty much burning nothing apart from flashes. Has got his TP, so he's not going to lose much to this wave. Electi coming out the stronger out of all these trades, and now we've got a 1.6k gold lead. And realistically, with the champions they have, it's only going to keep going up from there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, 1.6k at this point in time is a fairly significant gold lead because it's a lot harder to clamour these early gold leads because of the Dragon not giving the early gold. And obviously they don't have any towers on the board yet, so getting early gold leads is a lot more difficult in this new patch. And so once you do start to get that early advantage, it's a lot more effective because it's come from gold that you've mainly got from either ganks, from kills, or from just out-CSing your opponent. But it is going to be potentially a Righteous Glory first item coming out from Keys. Now that is interesting. Looking for some either ridiculous engage speed into that really, really awesome slow that you get. It's like the Randuin slow without the attack speed slow. So he's going to be looking to use that with his ultimate combined. That's really, really crazy.
Yeah, and just for the kind of guys at home, you want to go through exactly what Righteous Glory would build into. Just a brand new item. I'm actually not exactly sure how it works either, so I'm just an interesting item how it kind of goes around. But
yeah, it's basically, think of Talisman of Ascension and Randuin's. You combine them, and that is Righteous Glory.
Very good. I was actually slightly confused about exactly what it was, because as we all need to learn the patch notes, and actually Sona's nowhere near Hayden. He needs to be a little bit careful as he doesn't want to get poked out too much, but they look like they're trying to set up for this top lane. Sam Hodge going to go back though, pick up as much as he possibly can. The Catalyst will help out Scion in that top lane. Keys should be able to sustain against Chi-Killer. Brixton against Shazzy, I should say. Here comes the shockwave. They get the flash engage as well. There it is. Oh, there it is. The divine intervention coming in, or the intervention, and it comes in. They're trying to get more onto it. They're going to chase him in. I think he's pretty much a dead man. They actually use the ultimate. Here comes the flash. He's burning quite a bit. He may be able to turn this back around onto Brixton. He doesn't quite get it. Burns his own ignite, but he eventually does go down. He burned quite a bit though in the process, and he's able to keep going now. And realistically, he got caught out, but he did exactly what he needed to, just wasted more of their time.
Yeah, and actually, do you know what else I like about this Magic Pen sort of semi-AP Scion build? Whenever the minion wave looks to head towards the turret, he literally hits one minion through the rest of the minion wave, and it almost clears it, and also does a lot of slow damage. They don't actually head towards that turret as quickly as they should be doing. And it's just such good anti-siege as well. I really am interested by this pick. It's very, very off meta. novel, interesting as Electi are taking away this dragon buffer. They're going to get their first on the board on the game. But I do love this. I love seeing all the new crazy things that come out with new patches.
Yeah, exactly. While you were saying that, I did say the perfect opportunity to take dragon was when they did kill off Wiziu, getting a nice combination there with the Shona Crescendo and the assault and battery from Sam Hodge. But as you say, yeah, all these crazy builds, and that's what we were talking about, the diversity that new patches bring. Nobody really knows what's strong. Nobody really has a clue. And just looking at, kind of Nara's build path, or I should say, Chi Killer's build path, he's going with kind of everything, really. He's gone with health, he's gone with armor, he's gone with magic resist, he's gone with attack damage. I don't really think he really knows what to build against it, and that's the kind of brilliance of a kind of a, an AP, AP pen Scion, is you can catch people out.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you just wouldn't expect, like... Oh, what's going on?
Pamper Panda gets the Q steal onto the red buff. Very nicely done by him. And Sam Hodge nearly able to keep that away. Sorry to cut across you there. It just looked like it was going to be explosive engage, and then nothing happened.
I heard your wonderful Irish build-up in the film of a very Irish ooh, and then I was like, and then I said, okay, I'm going to stop talking because this could be something crazy.
It could have been something crazy, but as usually with the Irish, we build up a lot of hype for not a lot of result, and nothing happened in the end.
Oh, and today your rugby team. They had a bloody great game.
They had a fantastic game, but it's not what we're talking about right now. Oh, the Dark Binding missed, and that's not what you really wanted from Wiziu. He could have gotten a good kill on the Mexi. Propaganda Panda was there. They're going to force this. And they're trying to force it. They're trying to get in. There's the Dark Binding now. Here comes the TP coming out, though. Wiziu's taking up too much damage, though. He forces the flash out of it. There comes the Clano damage off the side. They're trying to jump back in. Sona goes down. Corky goes down as well. Propaganda is taking up too much damage. He's gonna go down as well. No. Kale ends up coming down to join the party, and again, Brixton is so late. He doesn't even realize that Kale was roaming down, and he ends up just being completely late for the party. They lose that fight 3-for-1, and possibly the tower.
I think he did realise this. He did have a little bit of a chase onto Shawsy as there's the engage by Brixton. Doesn't look like he's going to get a kill from it though.
Oh, you say that? There's the one auto attack and he gets it. Proves you wrong, doesn't want to get you, but they do lose that turret. They're actually losing a lot of damage in this top lane turret. The Lumberjack chopping away at it as he can, but Sam Hodge and Chi Killer, they're trying to go in for it. He does get the slow, they get the assault and battery, they're trying to keep going onto this. There it is, everything just being thrown at this guy. The ultimate! Oh, he just dodges out on the boomerang, able to charge right down that lane and get away, pushes down his axe on the tower, gives himself a salute. Very nicely done by Keys, but he may lose the tower.
He probably will lose the tower now as Sam Hodge looks to put the pressure down with Electi, but he can easily take that down. Actually, teleport coming in. There's a big rotation coming out here from you, what, mate?
Yeah, they're trying to catch someone out. They don't land the slow, though. They're still going on top of this. Here they come. They're trying to get the slow. The smite slow comes on. Sam Hodge has no mana. They're still trying to jump onto this. There's a bit of a split focus. They don't really know who they want to go for. They're now turning on the Chi Killer as Pantheon just keeps going on top of Sam Hodge. They are going to get the Dark Binding. Sam Hodge did go down in the background, but we are looking at Chi Killer trying to trade back a kill. Will he get it? Yes, he will. He gets one more kill, and he gets the speed boost as well. He might get away with this. He lands the slow. He's going to get one last thing. It's not going to be enough, though. The shout, just enough to take him down. They end up trading at 2-for-1. But a lot of mid lane pressure as well now as we do see Shawsy and Mexi pushing in that bot lane. Haydn and Jokerism trying to get a bit toe-to-toe, but again, crazy happening right now. Both teams just trying to rotate off each other's mistakes, and as I say that, we see Propaganda stealing away that blue buff.
And now that the top lane Keys is going to pick up for himself, he has got that Righteous Glory, was used in that last little engage. We did see it in action there. He hasn't built anything that would give away his total build yet, though. You do just get the base health regen, the health and the mana from Righteous Glory. There's nothing else that you get from that. You get a massive boost in your health regeneration, but there's no indication as to whether he's going to go full tank from this or he's going to go